Hello, this is KYC News. We have provided you with relevant and reliable information for the day. First and foremost, we wish him good health and heartfelt desire. Here are the main points. After receiving permission to enter Georgia, a Russian blogger immediately took a flight from Tbilisi to Lithuania. South Korea approves the first COVID-19 vaccination that was created domestically. After receiving permission to enter Georgia, a Russian blogger immediately took a flight from Tbilisi to Lithuania. After spending more than 2 weeks stranded in a neutral area at the Russian-Georgian border, a blogger from Russia's North Caucasus who is being charged with terrorism and claims the allegations are an attempt to halt her investigative reporting has been permitted to enter Georgia. Insa Lander, also known as Insa Oguz, revealed to RFE/RL on June 29 that she had traveled to Georgia before continuing on to Lithuania after being granted entry on July 27 by Georgian officials. Lander was stuck at a neutral section of the border after leaving her native Kabardino-Balkaria area on June 12 because Georgian authorities would not let her enter the nation because she had provided controversial information about the intent of her travel to the country, they claimed. Never did they clarify what that meant. The Georgian Foreign Ministry then made the claim that the blogger was facing terrorism-related charges at home in an effort to defend its hesitation to let her into the country in the face of protests from human rights organizations. Andrius Kalindra, the ambassador of Lithuania to Tbilisi, declared at the time that Vilnius was prepared to provide Lander a visa if Georgia permitted her entry. Lander, a longtime resident of Moscow, was detained in Kabardino-Balkaria in December as she traveled there to see family. She was accused of enlisting a person in a terrorist organization. The accusation was based on an internet conversation she had with a friend. Lander and her supporters have denied the accusation, claiming that the case was made up to prevent her from looking into potential corruption at a charitable organization run by a high-ranking Kabardino-Balkarian politician. South Korea approves the first COVID-19 vaccination that was created domestically. The first COVID-19 vaccine produced domestically in South Korea was licensed for use in adults 18 years of age and older on Wednesday by the country's health authorities, adding another weapon to the pandemic's arsenal. SK Bioscience's two-dose SKY-Covion vaccination looked to be more effective than the widely used AstraZeneca shots in clinical trials involving almost 4,000 people in South Korea and 5 other countries, according to officials at the South Korean Food and Drug Safety Ministry. It's not yet known how the newly created vaccine will be administered by authorities or how much of an impact the shots will have on the pandemic's future spread. The shots were made to treat the original coronavirus, not the more contagious Omicron variety that wrought havoc earlier this year in the nation and elsewhere in the world. Omicron booster doses are being developed more quickly by American vaccine juggernauts Pfizer and Moderna, but specialists warned that the virus may mutate once more in the near future. Pfizer and Moderna's vaccines employing mRNA technology have been a major component of South Korea's widespread immunization program. However, authorities assert that protein vaccines, such as SKY-Covion, which are comparable to shots long used to prevent the flu and hepatitis B, could appeal to people who are wary of using vaccines made with more modern technologies. South Korean Food and Drug Safety Minister Oh Yoo-kyung stated at a news event that the approval of SKY-Covion internationally demonstrates the abilities of our industry to create COVID-19 vaccines. According to her, SK Bioscience is looking to have its shots approved by the WHO, which might lead to export prospects. After battling its Omicron surge earlier this year, South Korea has loosened most of its coronavirus restrictions. However, some experts believe that despite having a high vaccination rate, the country may still experience an increase in infections due to waning immunity and the potential emergence of new variants. On Wednesday, the nation reported 10,463 new coronavirus cases, the first daily surge of above 10,000 in 20 days. Sun Young-rae, an official with the health ministry, said it was too soon to say whether the nation was experiencing another increase following a months-long declining trend. Leaders of NATO convene in Madrid. NATO leaders are meeting in Madrid, Spain, for a summit where they will talk about how to support Ukraine and adapt the alliance to upcoming and present problems. The leaders are anticipated to decide to increase aid to Ukraine as it fights off an invasion by Russia. The meeting will be a historic and transformative summit for our alliance, according to NATO Secretary-General Jens Stoltenberg, who also noted that it coincides with the most serious security challenge we have faced since the Second World War. The strike by Russia is also having an impact on NATO's long-term objectives, since the alliance's changed security environment is now a part of a new strategic paradigm. Other issues, such as China, will be addressed by the guiding agreement. In the near future, NATO is enhancing its capacity to respond to external threats. This includes increasing the number of troops directly under NATO command and securing more heavy weapons and logistical assets in advance. The summit will include discussions about enhancing alliances with non-NATO nations as NATO members evaluate Sweden and Finland's applications to join the alliance. Leaders from Australia, Japan, South Korea, and New Zealand will attend the meeting. A million years older than previously believed, cave woman. The fossils were preserved for millennia in South African caverns renowned as the cradle of humanity, one of which belonged to prehistoric cave woman Mrs. Please. According to recent tests, the earliest humans likely roamed the planet between 3.4 and 3.7 million years ago. The common perceptions of human evolution may change as a result of this new timeframe. It implies that there are now additional scenarios in which our ancestors could have undergone an early human evolution. For many years, experts thought that the Australopithecus africanus species, whose bones were found in the Sterkfontein caves outside of Johannesburg, had only existed for a short period of time, less than 2.6 million years. The underground complex has produced more early human remains than any other place in the world, including the nearly complete skull of Mrs. Please, a prehistoric cave woman, which was discovered in 1947. The animals, who moved on 2 feet, were substantially smaller than current humans, according to the Smithsonian Museum. The average height of men was 4 feet 6 inches, 138 centimeters, while the average height of women was 3 feet 9 inches. However, new radioactive dating methods indicate that Mrs. Please and the others found nearby are actually 1 million years older than previously believed. The new age was determined by examining the sediment near the fossils for concentrations of a rare isotope produced when the rocks were exposed to cosmic rays prior to falling into the cave. Until recently, scientists believed that the Australopithecus africanus hominids were too young to have evolved into the Homo genus, our ancestors, who were already roving the planet some 2.2 million years ago. These new discoveries imply that they had a million more years to complete that evolutionary step, raising the probability that Mrs. Please and the species she belonged to were prehistoric humans. Because of this, the species lived on Earth at the same time as Lucy, an extinct ape whose 3.2 million-year-old remains were once thought to belong to the ancestor of all humans, Australopithecus afarensis, from Africa. According to the revised timetable, the two animals may have interbred, confounding our understanding of how humans evolved and raising the possibility that it was not a straightforward evolutionary path. As a result, according to French scientist Laurent Bruxelles, who participated in the study, our family tree is more like a shrub. Israeli soldiers commit murder. Mohammed Murray, a 25-year-old Palestinian from the Jenin refugee camp, was shot by Israeli soldiers during a dawn raid into the city and later passed away from his injuries, according to Wissam Baker, the head of the Khalil Suleiman Hospital, according to Wafa news agency. According to local accounts, amid the altercations, another young Palestinian male, whose identity was not immediately known, was also hurt. Before departing Jenin, the soldiers arrested 2 Palestinians after searching the homes of their relatives. Following the raid, according to the Shahab news agency, hundreds of Palestinians carried the dead man's body through the Jenin neighborhoods and its refugee camp while yelling anti-Israel chants, denouncing the crimes committed by the Tel Aviv government's occupying force and Jenin's ongoing aggression. Additionally, they urged steadfast resistance up until the complete liberation of all Palestinian territories.